What's going on, Gaming Nation? We're back for another episode presented to you by Fandoms Anonymous. I kind of slurred on that opening. Whatever, don't care. It's early morning, and it's a beautiful morning this lovely Sunday. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know we've been covering our Road to E3 special. Currently, E3 is going on, so by the time we actually get this episode out, likely all the press conferences will have happened, but we're going to cover a little bit of what has already gone on today and what we can expect from something else. But today's show is very special. It's leading up to next week's holiday, where a lot of us probably won't be here due to dealing with that and family matters, because it is a family holiday. So we're going to go ahead and cover that today. But first, I'm going to introduce a panelist. We are missing one today, so shout out to my boy Daryl. But we do have the other two here today. So what's going on, Dan?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm really excited to be here. Like we kind of mentioned last week, that this is the show that at least brought me into this equation and kind of put us together. And, this is like a brotherly bond now. I'm excited to be here all the time and to get this in. Let's talk about E3, baby.
Let's do it. All right. What's going on, Spotty?
What's snapping in, everybody?
He actually did it. That's awesome. So that's Spotty's new catchphrase. What's snapping in? Y'all hashtag that, make that go viral. It's gonna be awesome. And of course, I'm Clay from Tales of the Blade, your host for this show. Cue that intro. All right, so today, of course, we're talking about something a little bit different. We are going to cover some E3, especially in lieu of, or in light of the event that happened just last night, which was the EA press conference. Tonight is going to be Microsoft and Bethesda. Tomorrow is Square, Ubisoft, PC Gaming, and Sony, which I'm actually very upset about. I thought about calling into work because I want to catch Sony's press conference. And then Tuesday, Nintendo has the day all to themselves, so we will definitely cover that in detail at some point. I might talk about it a little bit while everybody's celebrating today's topic, which of course is Father's Day. It is coming up. So today we're going to do a show called Dads of Gaming. But first, E3 in a minute. Last night's EA press conference included several really cool things, like Battlefield 5 is getting a more destructible environments and a battle royale mode, which of course the crowd was not at all excited about. It seemed like in the first 3 minutes EA mentioned battle royale, and the crowd just went, yay. BioWare's Anthem got a little bit more information, including the fact that you can actually change your class by changing your Lancer mech suit within the game. So it's an RPG that allows you to change your class on the fly to fit whatever situation you need, which is really, really cool, especially in light of what they did with Mass Effect Andromeda. Kingdom Hearts got a release date, January 29th, 2019. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen, and we finally got a date. It's on its way. It's actually pretty close when you think about it, because we're already halfway through 2018. 2019 is right around the corner. Holidays coming, and we're going to see a lot of cool stuff from that. Last but not least, Star Wars was announced to have a new game coming, set between episodes 3 and 4 by Respawn Entertainment, produced, of course, by EA, and it's going to focus on, again, another Jedi, so we might see something a little bit along the lines of what we saw with Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which was a fantastic game, so it's going to be really cool to see. And that's been E3 in a minute. That thing, it's good. All right, I'm done. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Dads of Gaming, and we're going to be talking about some really awesome dad figures, father roles, and actual dads within. Celebrating, of course, Father's Day coming up next weekend, so I know you guys are going to be spending time with that. So right off the bat, I'm going to kick it over to my boy Dan. Tell us about your dad pick for this week, man.
Oh, man, dad pick, man. So I'm gonna mess up his name, but you got to help me with this. Help me with the guy that created Mario. I don't want to screw up his name.
Shigeru Miyamoto?
Yes, thank you. I'm looking. I got it written down, but it just looks it. I didn't want to say it. So Mr. Emoto, man, this guy, throwback, has made so many great games. He's partially put a stamp on all of our childhood. And when we think about a great dad is consistent with what he does. If he's there for the kids, he picks them up on time, he makes them food, meals, but he also prepares them for life. And that's what I think Mr. Moto did for us, man. He went crazy. He gave us so many great titles, and it all started with a little man called Mario. And I was just actually watching this little thing today on his mustache and how they had to give Mario a mustache because he looked just weird with, like, he looked like he had no nose, like, because it was just a little 8-bit. And it was just the stuff that he did at an early age back in, the 70s, 80s to put us where we are today.
Now, how are you going to jump in and immediately go for the jugular like that with Miyamoto? I can't even top that in any way, shape, or form. Like, okay, like literally, Shigeru Miyamoto, like Dan just said, he put a stamp on our childhood. That dude, in terms of gamers, was a father to us all. He brought us Nintendo. He brought us the start. Mario, Legend of Zelda, friggin' Donkey Kong. Oh my gosh, how'd you do that?
It's crazy because when we talked about this a while ago, I was like, "Ooh, I got it," and I've got the notes on my phone. But then I was like, right now, looking at his name, is like, dude, I'm just gonna ask for Clay's help to say this. Well, it's really, I don't know everybody's name in the world. A lot of gamers, we just play the games and we know the people, the developers and creators, but he's really the one that everybody knows, man. And even if you don't know his name, it's like the kids these days. You're like, oh, I don't know who Elvis is because you're 6, but once you hear a song, you're gonna know exactly who Elvis is. Oh, I don't know who Miyamoto is. Wait, have you played Legend of Zelda? Have you played Mario? Oh, I know who that is. It's just he's the man, and he helped really inspire other people, other developers and creators to get it going around the whole world.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I can't even. Spotty, you, man, go.
Well, since somebody already went for a real-life creator father figure, I'm going to jump into character father figures. My pick for a father figure is Geralt of Rivia.
Now, I'm not 100. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not 100% familiar with Geralt of Rivia. Like, talk about that.
Geralt of Rivia, and this more pertains to Witcher 3, but he is one of the best father figures, depending on the choices you make, of course. But he is a father figure to a little girl named Ciri. Ciri has the Elder Blood, has a lot of power, and he makes his every best attempt to raise her to be a good person, to make sure she doesn't use her powers for evil, to make sure other people can't use her powers for evil, and he's very gentle with children, but he can also be firm, and he's not afraid to scold somebody if they need to be scolded.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds like the kind of dad I would have, one that would raise you right. And of course, I'm sitting here playing God of War. You got Dad of Boy here, but but one that actually came up when I was thinking about it was actually really kind of a hard hitting one. I want to talk about this one for a minute. You guys have played The Last of Us, right? Or at least seen The Last of Us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know about Joel and how in the very beginning, spoiler alert, in the very beginning of the game, he loses his daughter while trying to save her during this sudden outbreak of this zombie apocalypse that's going on. And it was really sad. He lost that, and then you not long after get this character in the group named Ellie, and she becomes the main focus of the game. But then through the game, they grow closer as family. They grow closer as what you would consider to be a meshed together father-daughter unit. And the cool thing about it is that towards the very end of the game, he makes this sort of major life-changing decision that's going to affect the entire world. I mean, just to give it away, and unfortunately I have to in this part, but he literally, she has this gene in her brain that allows her to resist the zombie outbreak. And they try to harvest it out of her so that they can save the whole of humanity, this group called the Fireflies. He kills everyone in that building to save her life. sacrifices the entirety of the world in order to protect her and keep her around, and because he feels like he has to in terms of the fact that he feels like he is his father. He sacrifices the world for this girl that he has adopted as a daughter.
Oh, wow.
Tell me that doesn't get like Father of the Year right there. But another one that I was, thinking about, was actually, give me a second if I remember it. I can't remember it. Dan, go.
Another one?
Yeah,
okay.
give us another one, man. Keep going. Let's keep this going.
Let's get this going. Who's another good father in the gaming world? Well, I'd want to say Kratos, but he hasn't shown me much. But hey, look, let's just talk about it, man. It's a father, man. So we see. You guys have completed the game, right? Have you beat the game, Clay?
I have not. I'm working on it.
Okay, heard. Well, I might be asking you some questions because I haven't been able to play the full game. But okay, so we got Kratos now, and he's got a son, so he gets to be in this episode a little bit. He's got his son. How is he doing with his son? Like, I've seen he's showing him the right way. Is it getting darker through the storyline, or is he starting to actually care, and you can tell he's changing?
No, he definitely. Even like halfway through the story, suddenly takes a turn from his general attitude towards Atreus, and suddenly he has this more nurturing side of him. I'll say at him as he kind of has to reveal the fact that Atreus is a god, and so suddenly he goes to it's kind of interesting because all of a sudden Atreus starts asking all these childlike questions like, can I turn into an animal? It's like one of the first questions when he finds.
No, boy.
Yeah, it's literally like one of the first questions he asks when he finds out that he's a god is, "Can I turn into an animal?" Which was adorable because I mean, you think about that, you have powers all of a sudden. You're like, well, what can I do? Can I do this? And so he doesn't shun the questions like he does like half the other questions in the game that Atreus asks. He's more like, no, we'll figure it out. We'll find this out together. And he really steps up and says, this is cool, I get to be a little more open with him now, but I have to help him understand and bring him up right. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I love it.
One of my favorite dad moments in God of War is towards the very beginning when Atreus makes his first humanoid kill.
Yeah.
When he kills one of the bandits, and he's just devastated. He is just distraught. He is traumatized by the fact that he just took another human's life. And Kratos is trying his best to console him, but he can only console him as the god of war. So he's like holding his son. He's got his son's face in his hands, and he's all like, "Close your heart to it.
Yeah.
Just close your heart to it." And it's like that's the best advice he can give because he is the god of war, and he has led a life of bloodshed.
Very true.
I love that. And as a dad, sometimes you gotta, everyone's different, every child's different, every parent is different, so you gotta give different advice to different people. Like advice I'd give to my son, I might not give the same advice to your son. It's different. Every kid is different, especially with what you're doing, where they're at in life, what kind of curricular activities they're in. It's crazy, and I'm glad you brought up that point, brother.
Absolutely. So, actually, this is I'm gonna give a shout out to my wife on this one. Shout out to Splattermutt. She actually just brought up this one, and it's from Horizon Zero Dawn. And I don't know if you guys have played that one, but essentially it's about a little girl who no one knows where she came from, no one knows what happened, but in exile to the society of sort of tribal outlanders takes her in and teaches her the way of the hunt and raises her to be this sort of understanding person while at the same time dealing in this harsh environment reality. His name is Rost. And he did one of the most courageous things I've ever seen a lot of people do. And of course you would think about it, if you're a dad and you're talking about your kid, you're going to jump in the line of fire for them. It doesn't matter really the situation. He took a bomb for this girl in order to save her and to save the rest of the tribe, but really mostly to save her. he was facing an individual who was about to blow up a lot of really heavy duty stuff that was meant to sabotage this particular village that they were attacking. And he did so and ended up losing his own life. It was really sad to watch. If you guys have ever played Horizon Zero Dawn, that opening sequence was really, really hard hitting.
Sounds dope.
Yeah. Spotty, what about you?
Another father figure character I've got to say is Soldier 76.
Ah, there it is, Soldier 76.
Ooh.
Soldier 76. I mean, he is the dad who will take off his jacket because he thinks you're going to catch a cold. He throws down his healing orb and he says, "Get over here and get your healing." I mean, he's like the stern father, but he's also the one that's going to make sure you're going to be okay.
Good call. That was actually a good call. Dan, go.
Hey, so Darth Vader, if you don't know who he is, you must have been sleeping under a rock for a good 40 years. Dude, and the only reason why, some people are like, dude, how could you bring him up with good dads? Well, listen, man, everybody makes mistakes in their life, and at the end, towards the end of he wanted to make things really right, and he messed some things up. He had a heart, but at the end of the day, he did do right by his children, and that's what you asked for, man. He did wrong in the beginning, and then once he saw his babies, he knew, I got to do right, and he did, man. He told Luke the truth. He told Luke he was his father, and he went against the Empire, and that's all she wrote there. You guys, anything else to add to Vader?
Now, you want to talk about going against the Empire? Literally took the Emperor up in his arms, and despite the fact that he was going to kill him, the Emperor was going to kill Vader for this, he just threw him down an exhaust pipe. How do you do that? This guy that you have sworn your allegiance to, you fought for, you killed for, you betrayed the Jedi Order that you idolized, and you jump in and he's like, you know what? My son's here. Yeah, this is it. I'm doing it.
Exactly. There's nothing stronger than a bomb for your kids, man.
It's true. Go, Spotty. Oh, you were saying about Vader. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about Vader is he knew that Palpatine was going to kill his son, his flesh and blood, and at that point, Anakin Skywalker took over and said, "No, this is my kid. I have a family. No, this is my kid. You're not going to kill my kid. I don't care what I've done for you. I don't care what you've done for me. You're not killing my kid."
Yeah.
All right, I got that. Okay, so let's talk about another one. Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
What does this dude do for his little girl Marlene? Let's talk about that for a second. We're talking his, fighting his best friend, going against the entirety of the world, literally destroying everything that the world is establishing, risking his own life doing so in order to provide a better future for her. Tell me that's not some serious devotion.
That's crazy, man. And sometimes, I like that because sometimes we do too much for our kids. I know that sounds like, you can never do too much, but sometimes you gotta just chill, man. Like if you're out there hurting other people and everything just to get your kid on, it's devotion. But we had to have a scale and balance in life, man. And I like you brought that up because we're covering all different forms of dads too. I kind of love it. We got a dad here that's he really loves his daughter. He'd do anything for her, but he's out there just doing whatever he can to make things go. And I mean, it's not about what you can or what you're supposed to do, I guess.
Well, at the same time, I understand where you're going with that. You got to think about what Shinra was doing to the planet, draining the planet's life energy, literally sucking it out of the world. And soon there would be no world to have for your kids. So, would you say that pushing it to that extreme was actually necessary?
Oh yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. I guess I kind of forgot about that with that game and storyline, but I was kind of bringing it into full spectrum on our side. But good point, bro.
I understand the reality behind that. Here's one I want to bring up, and actually I'll let Spotty talk about this one for a second, because I'm sure that he can really get on there. And I'll actually preface it. Maybe he'll catch it. Why must Mira cry? Come on. You know this one. Asura.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So go on.
Asura from Asura's Wrath. He doesn't want his daughter to cry. Some of the context is when his daughter is born, she cries whenever he leaves the house. And he is just this big ball of rage. He is even ragier than Kratos is. That's the level of rage he has. So he promises that he's going to punch anybody who makes her cry, because that's the only thing he knows how to do. Because the source of his power is wrath.
Yep.
So when he is betrayed by the other gods, they capture his daughter and he kill his wife. He's not as devastated about his wife dying as he is about his daughter being captured.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes up and he starts going ham on everybody. He gets thrown to hell for, I forget whether it's 500 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years, but he crawls back up out of hell and he starts going on this big tirade. He's all like, nope, you done messed up. You done made my daughter cry. Now you gotta die. So he pretty much just goes and destroys the person who created the universe because he made his daughter cry.
He goes against, the reality itself. Yeah, that was pretty extreme.
Yeah.
But again, like Dan was saying, to what end do you, really kind of hold back for your kids? And like I said, you do a lot for your kids. But I guess in that context, that's pretty extreme.
But in that context, the world was still there. It's just the magical power keeping Asura alive was going to be gone. And I'm going to spoil it, but at the very end, Mira tries to stop Asura because she says, you will die if you kill him. And then Asura just goes right around her and says, but you will live.
Sure. By the way, Dan, if you never play Asura's Wrath, you definitely should give that a look, man. I think
it sounds amazing. I never played it, but wow, that
you can
line
either play
alone
it,
is just like.
I mean, you can either play it or you can watch somebody else play it. I want to say that they're both about the same experience, both playing and watching, because it's a very heavy on story.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was like watching an anime or even interacting with it a little bit. What about Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins?
Yes.
That
Bayek, just being a father figure is like an added bonus, but he is my favorite character from the Assassin's Creed series.
definitely have to agree there. And there's been a lot of great dads in Assassin's Creed. I mean, when you talk about people that are trying to not really go on like these killing sprees, but change the world and make the world better for their son or their daughter, or even in light of their son or daughter, like William Miles. How he literally takes on this entire order despite the magnitude of the order that he's taking on. He literally does this strictly for Desmond's sake, and in Desmond's name. Even after Assassin's Creed 3, when Desmond perishes, he sees the extent that what Desmond went through, goes on his little hiatus and disappears for a while, and comes back stronger than ever, and honestly more of an intimidating figure than he ever has been. And he goes after the Templar Order in all strides, cutting them at every quick. Then Bayek, is the same way. He goes after this Order of the Ancients, an order that he knows.
He goes after the Templars before the Templars were a thing.
Exactly. And then
my favorite line from Assassin's Creed Origins was between Bayek and his wife. His wife says, "Are you sure we can defeat all these guys?" And Bayek says, "Of course. We have better gods than they do."
Ha! That was pretty good. And then when you think about like Giovanni Auditore, who literally lived that life in this political driven world that he was in, because it was during the Renaissance time in Italy. He lived this hard life, this secretive, dangerous life for the sake of his family, so that they can know a better world. There's so many things that we can sit here and talk about when it comes to what our fathers do for us and what they mean to us. And it's important to remember that at the end of the day, sometimes, a lot of times anyway, a good dad anyway, is going to do what's absolutely best, not just for his child, but for what his child will go through for the rest of their lives. And it's always important to understand that. So I'm going to end this by saying Happy Father's Day, and by bringing up one of the biggest daddies of all when it comes to Father's Day, Big Daddy himself from the BioShock series. And not just any Big Daddy, not just any Big Daddy, but Delta from BioShock 2. This is a guy who literally was a defective Big Daddy who went out of his way to ensure the protection of the little sister that he was sworn to protect. And it was an amazing thing. He took on this establishment of the creation of more of these little sisters. He stopped the process itself to set the girls free, to let them live their lives the way they should. Jack did something similar in BioShock 1, but I think Delta really brought it home when it came right down to it. So again, guys, happy Father's Day. Celebration to all the dads out there. You know who you are. And of course to all those who remember their dad very fondly, or their father figure even. Doesn't have to any of the guy who raised you, or girl, if you had that going on. I mean, that's a thing. So celebration to them out there. Thank y'all so much. Today we're going to go ahead and cover our coming up segment. So Dan, what's your pick for this week?
Yo, I got a very special one. It drops June 15th, so probably by the time you hear this, it might actually be out. So go check out Lego Incredibles. Now, this is a game you're like, oh man, a Lego game? Well, this ain't just any regular Joe Schmo game. This is the Incredibles. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when the Incredibles came out for like the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 back in the day, but that game, it was awesome. It still gets like an 8 out of 10 for me. I played it not too long ago, and it's a fun little, not fully open world, but you can go out there, roam around, beat people up. It was a fun game. I'm excited to see what they can do with this. It's going to be awesome, and I think that you can play with Jack in this game, which the old game you couldn't. So, I guess according to the previews of the movie, Jack's getting all these new powers. He's kind of like Incredible Hulking a little bit, and he's got a bunch of stuff going on. So it'd be kind of cool to get to play with this little baby and get to like access all of his powers, because I think they're teasing that I think he's going to be the strongest one out of all of them. Like he's going to have everyone's powers, it looks like, and his own.
Yeah, Jack's weird because I wonder if they'll like put his powers like on a random roulette system, because
you're right,
dude. He is so weird.
Every 20 seconds.
Yeah, because literally he'll just be doing one thing and all of a sudden he'll jump to another power, and so yeah, from the previews, Jack seems pretty intense. I can't wait to see how that character plays out. Spotty, how about you, man?
My upcoming pick is going to be Anthem. I saw the cinematic trailer, and my mind immediately went to Phantasy Star Online, and I love that game.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be really nice if we can get like another Phantasy Star Online type game released in the States, because we got Phantasy Star Online too, but that's the Japanese only release.
That's true. And of course, my coming up pick is actually one that I'm very excited about, and I can't wait to see it. You know what? Why not? Let's just go ahead and say Kingdom Hearts. Because, I mean, naturally, the fact that we've been waiting as long as we have for this, and now it actually finally gets a release date, and it's actually very close. I'm really super excited now. So, it just became real. Kingdom Hearts 3, it's going to be off the chain. I can't wait. But, hey, we have a surprise dad pick. Go, Spotty.
Nakmor Drak from Mass Effect Andromeda.
I can take that. I love Drak.
I love that, especially the banter between Drak and Peebee. Peebee, basically, the way he talks to her like she's his daughter.
Okay, definitely. I mean, yeah, he definitely was kind of like the dad Krogan to us all. But that's gonna do it for this show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Dan, where can we find you?
Hey, you guys can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at the Fan Club TFC563, where we're every week talking about a little bit of everything, the best of sports, video games, pop culture, and music. Check us out.
And hey, I hear your DJ business doing pretty good. You want to plug that one as well?
Oh yeah, let's plug the DJ business. Shout out you guys. Press Play, DJ, and Photo Booth. We are right smack dab in the heart of America, Dubuque, Iowa, but we will travel pretty much anywhere. I'm talking to a girl right now about doing a wedding for them in Hawaii. So we're going to see what's going to go down.
So yeah, guys, they travel, they do all kinds of great stuff, and from what I hear, they're actually really affordable, so definitely check them out, Press Play Entertainment. Give them a look and definitely get them to your next event, wedding, what have you. Spotty, where can we find you, man?
You can find me on Instagram at TurboMcGogo or at SpottyBud. You can find me at YouTube at Angry Cheetah Gamer, and you can always find me on Tales of the Blade.
And right here on Gaming Nation. And of course, you can find me, Clay, from Tales of the Blade on YouTube, Tales of the Blade, Facebook Tales of the Blade, and Gaming Nation and Fandoms Anonymous, both on the YouTube and Facebook channel. And if you didn't know who we are Fandoms Anonymous, FANDOMS, ANONYMOUS. We're all over social media right now. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Check us out. Come subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Facebook. Join the groups. Join the discussions. We have great talks every single day. It's always a fun time. Please come check us out. And as always, if there's anything else, thanks for listening and have a good one.